Hi there, welcome to QA Box Let's Test. If you have not already subscribed to this channel, kindly do so. And if you like the video, give them the thumbs up. Alright, in this video we are going to see how can we run our test cases against different set of data. As we all know how vital it is to run our application against different set of data. Just to demonstrate this, let's understand the simple example. So this is one function which is supposed to divide numerator by denominator. And based on what input we pass in, right, we expect a different behavior. And as a programmer, it is our responsibility to ensure that we control all these different variations. For example, when you say 4 divided by 2, you get the 2 back. But when you divide 4 by 0 in different programming languages, you get division by 0 error. And we are not supposed to display these errors to the user. And also, at times these errors break the execution of the application, make the application unreliable and not usable, right? So we have to handle that. And in testing, the only way we can explore all these different paths by providing different set of data. Okay, so now let us see that into action. So let's imagine this is the function that we have to test. This function check whether the number that we are providing to it is an even number or not. And let's imagine I have to check four numbers 1, 2, 3, and 4. So if I have to check four numbers using this function, I have to write four test cases. All right, this does not make sense, right? Why are we repeating the code again and again? So the way we are going to handle that is something like this. So we are going to create our data first. All right, and test data is simply specified as an array of objects. The object can contain any data you like that is relevant to your particular test. So in our case, what do we want? So we are going to pass in the number, and based on that number we are going to get a result back. So if the number is 1, right, of course it's not even, so we are going to get false back. All right, and so on. For in case of 2, we are going to get true back. All right, so now the next thing that we are going to do is, it's very simple. So this is now your array. All right, and you're going to say for each. Okay, and for each accepts function, callback function. All right, what happens is that when this is run for the first time, it is going to pick this, right, second time this, and so on. So herein what we are doing is pretty simple. We are just passing in the first object from this array. All right, and we are saying, hey, const result is equal to, we are invoking this function, and now we are reading this value. All right, so it is going to be dot num. Okay, and then we are running this function. Now you could see that we have reduced it to just one function, and we are using the template syntax in here. All right, and through this we have also controlled the name of the test case. So now what we are saying is sync method is even function when num parameter is, and then we are passing in the value. So first time it is going to be 1, then 2, then 3, and then 4. So we can control the name as well. Pretty neat, right? Right, the next is the asynchronous method, and here we are going to do the integration and we are going to test the API. So again, the concept is pretty simple, straightforward. You have to create the array of objects. Okay, so here in all I'm doing is I'm just providing the ID and the email, and I'm making use of XEOs, right, what I've already shown to you in the previous videos. And again, async, await, everything has been explained. So here in all we are doing is, again, we are using the for each, right? For each will pick these objects one by one. I've already explained for each in detail in my JavaScript video series. And then so we are just writing it once, and this test case will then run 3 times. Isn't that neat? Right, so let us execute this and see what will happen. So I'm just going to open this. I'm going to say npm test. I'm going to run this, and we are going to see that we have written only 2 it blocks. Okay, so only this one will be executed first, because I've used dot only. All right, so now you could see that this particular test case was written only once, but it got executed 3 times, and every time it got executed, a different name was generated, and intentionally I have failed the third test case. So just to pass it, I have to just change this value. I save this, and this will run again, and all 3 test cases are passed. So this is how we are going to do this. Let me just remove this and execute the first one as well. So in total now you could see that there are now 7 test cases. All right, so 4 times the sync method was executed and 3 times the async method was executed. Okay, so this is a trick that you have to use to execute your test cases multiple times. Now I promise that we are also going to cover the UI thing, so let's see that in action. So here also what we are doing is, uh, so this is the site, and we are going to make use of this login page. All right, so first time I'm going to pass in this invalid thing, invalid email ID, and this is what we are going to verify. Second time I'm going to provide in the correct user ID and password, then this would log in, and we are going to verify a text on the landing page. And again, the concept is pretty simple, straightforward. The first thing that I've created is I've created this array of objects, and I just didn't want to show the password, all right, of this particular user, and because this is a valid user, that's why it's a collapse. The other one is already open, so that's the same syntax that I've followed in here, all right. And what I'm the tool that I'm using here is Cypress. Okay, and you could see that we are launching the page, and simply we are just passing in those email ID and password, and again we are using for each. So now this test case would be executed twice. Okay, so let's see that, and the way we have to execute it like this. So you could see that it is going to be executed 2 times. First time it's done, second time this is a valid user ID, right? And now you could see that both are being executed. In the first one we executed this particular thing, email or password is invalid. Second time we expected this, so this is the login page, right? You could see that it's already login. So now one more thing, so there is an extension also available, so the npm library which you can use, which is Mocha data driven. If you search for this you will land here. So herein you could see that the describe block is there, the it block is there. Okay, and instead of using array dot for each method, they have provided this another function. So you have to wrap your test case inside this data driven block, pretty much like the way we wrap these it blocks inside the for each method. So that's about making your test cases data driven into Mocha.